first question I have. Um, so just tell us about the I Will Graduate organization, like the purpose of it, the vision, and how it got started.
Thank you, David, for having me. The I Will Graduate program really got started while I was working in the music and entertainment industry. I've been in the music industry for many years. People know my story. I'm a musician, of course, and I did a lot of background work and musician work while I was trying to look for a deal. And then there was a point in my life where I started to get interested in the business of music. And I went behind the scenes. And it was that time working at Rockefeller Records that I really started thinking about pro-social initiatives and ways that I can utilize my resources and my voice. And my husband and I, there was a school that asked us to bring some resources to the school because the students were not coming to school on Fridays. And we said, well, why don't we just bring some of the Rockefeller artists and let them come, and the kids know them, and we'll bring some giveaways, and I'll see if Jay come. I knew Jay wasn't going to come, but we brought some of the other artists. And that day was the day that changed the trajectory of my life, because after that school visit, that principal told their friends and said, hey, they brought these artists to the school to help us get the dropout rate up at the school. And it started to become just this, buzz around New York City. At the time, we were not aware of how bad the dropout rate was in New York City. And when we discovered that only 30% of our students were graduating from high school in New York City, the richest city in the world, I knew I had to do something with my resources, and that's how the program got started. I Will Graduate is a wonderful youth development organization dedicated to inspiring and motivating young people to live out their fullest potential. We have a host of programs, youth development programs, in over 300 schools citywide. We do everything from music and arts programs to sports programs, robotics, college and career mentoring, you name it, anything that's going to ignite our young people to live out their full potential.
Well, definitely, that's great. And I also read that I guess part of that is the I Will. You guys have an I Will Graduate Day. I guess you was telling some little artists. I don't know if that was they're involved in that, or just tell us about that day, or I don't know if you guys had it already, if it's coming up, but just kind of tell us about that and how it fits into the organization.
So I Will Graduate Day is the premier event that we use to really catapult the organization to get the recognition so that we could get more resources into the organization. And 15 years ago, we started this event where we would invite schools from around the city to come out and partake of a day of engagement, motivation, inspiration, all to encourage students to want to be educated and pursue excellence. And so our Graduate Day has always been spearheaded by celebrities and high profile figures, politicians, and we look forward to a major gala this October 24th, 2022 at the Barclays Center Arena, the home of the Brooklyn Nets. We're bringing 15,000 students, and we have some celebrity special guests like Lala Anthony and Joseph Sikora from Power. We have people like Fabio Foreign, who is going to grace the stage, in addition to our New York City mayor, our chancellor of New York City, and so many politicians around the country, around the city. So we're excited about the day, and we look forward to great things.
That definitely sounds like a great event. And you mentioned before about engaging the youth and kind of inspiring them. Do you kind of find, like, in this day and age, that has to really be kind of at the center of like kind of reaching the youth or getting them more involved in like the importance of education? Like, do you have to really make an effort to engage them?
Absolutely. I mean, this generation is different than, my generation. I grew up in the 80s in the crack epidemic, and so I grew up in the 70s, 80s, but more 80s, I was a teenager in the 80s. And We were on the cusp. And so this generation is worse than us because they, have everything so quick. Everything is microwave. They can go on the internet and Google get any answer, where we had to go to the library and go through the encyclopedia to get the answer. And so with that, a lot of times you lose some of the foundational components that will help you to be your best version of yourself. That ability to work hard and to really be motivated. And I just feel that there has been a devaluing of education in our country for many years. And that's why we're here. We're here to get our young peoples back motivated. We want them to be inspired, but most importantly, we want them to do it. Thus the mantra, I will graduate. We want them to want it, and we're going to help them achieve it.
Definitely. And you had mentioned before, like, obviously, you have background in gospel music, and that's helped you with the organization. Is there any, even for those who are familiar with you, is there any projects that even coming up that we can expect from you, or how's that side?
Oh, yes. I'm so glad you got to my gospel part. Absolutely. I have a new album that I'm working on called I Am More Than a Conqueror. We have a single that's out at radio. Well, it's not at radio yet, but it's out on the internet. And we will be sending it out to radio soon. And the project, we are releasing it in first quarter 2023. So we're very excited about that.
Okay. And how do you kind of feel about I'm sure you've heard a couple of things as far as in the industry, like how do you feel about kind of the current state? Like we recently had the Stellar Awards. There were some who liked it, some who didn't. And you have people kind of making comments about, Beyonce's new song, Church Girl. So how do you feel like about just the current stage of gospel music? Are you happy with it? Do you feel we still have a lot of room to grow, or what is your feelings on that?
I love gospel. I'm a church girl down to my core. And I think like any industry, there's always room for growth. We need more in gospel. There's not enough platforms for us. The Stellar Awards is the one major platform for us. And so our goal is to always try to help in any way we can to have those platforms really benefit those artists like myself who need a voice and want to, be recognized for the work that we do. But I mean, it is a work in progress, David. That is a double-edged question. And so I will just say, listen, all of us, there's always room for improvement. And anytime somebody wants to amplify the voice of gospel music or the good news music, I'm all for it. I cannot comment on anybody's relationship with God. I can only comment on mine. And if somebody feels that maybe they're R&B artists and they want to put out something, I can only hope that it will continue to advance the kingdom and the kingdom work that we're doing.
Okay.